Welcome back. Here with the Independence Day special edition of Money, 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 where we're discussing the concept of financial independence. Kalpesh, so we've discussed the first step towards financial independence in our 5-point roadmap, and that's knowing your financial profile. Then the second, perhaps very important stage is setting your goals, deciding where exactly you want to be in terms of, a financial target.
Exactly, because a goal is simple. I just put a small analogy to it. It's like playing a football match. So a football player who probably works so hard, skillfully, dribbling and shooting and passing all on his own with his teammates or as a team. You envisage a situation when he's in front of the goal. He's done all the hard work and he sees in front of him there is no goalpost to shoot at. So it's absolutely necessary that you have a goal. And goals can be classified very easily if you actually put your head to it. You include your family members into it, which is one more big step in financial independence. So set out writing goals. And in that you start classifying goals by time duration. So you have a short-term goal, which we generally classify as which is anything between today to 3 years.
Okay.
You have medium-term goals, so which could be time duration-wise anything which could be 3 to say 5 years. To 6 years. And your long-term goals, which is more than 7 to 10 years and away.
So now let me quickly ask you a follow-up on this. I mean, it's always great to dream, but when you advise people, are there any upper limits or realistic caps that you set to these financial goals as a function of perhaps your current income inflow, etc.?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no cap to the dreams, but there is a cap on your profile.
Right.
So if you can't be just extravagantly thinking that if this is my profile, I could aim for X is to Y is to Z. So you should be realistic that where you will get. And that is where we even have to, unfortunately, tell people bluntly that please scale your dreams down.
So that brings us to point number 3. Again, to recap, number 1 is knowing your own financial profile. Number 2 is knowing your goals. Number 3, the external awareness, Kalpesh, that you spoke of, which is perhaps the marketplace or products. To what extent does someone need to be aware and educated financially in order to move on this path of financial independence?
Exactly. So when you talk about external awareness, that is something which you have to train yourself for. And you have to have a keen eye or an ear about it. So even if you are a professional in any field, not necessarily finance, you need to know ultimately about where your money is going. So for that, what we generally say, not as a professional, and we don't say that you should know the nitty-gritty of the financial world, but what we generally say is that he should at least know what are equity markets. If you put your money in equity, there's a certain risk. When you put your money in debt, there is a certain level of security. But the returns are muted compared to the equity. Then you stretch it forward, saying that you should know the roles of the institutions. So if somebody says the word SEBI, you should not be lost in a different planet. You should know that this is an institution which is for protection of the investors. So this is the basic knowledge. RBI, what does the RBI do? What does the finance ministry do? I'm not saying to read the fine print of the budget word by word, but at least the finer points. And that is all imbibed by just putting yourself little bit, say half an hour every day to understand this. We have the whole world of media today exploding and telling us what is available to us. Because if we are not financially savvy, I think it's a complicated world out there in finance today. It's a jungle. And it's very, very possible that you will be misguided by a lot of people who want to, misguide you for their own benefits.
And perhaps that's why it's really important to understand the importance of an independent financial advisor as well. Someone who's working for you and not necessarily working for those who are selling products in the market. All right. That brings us to point number 4. And maybe this is the most difficult one, which is drawing up a plan. Where do you even start, Kalpesh?
So drawing up a plan is probably putting your cash flow in perspective, which I always say is the nerve center. And that gives you an handle of what that person is. Because be it a person who's earning 50,000 rupees per month, or be it a person who's earning 50 lakh a month, his income and his expenses will move in that parameter. So he should be able to know that if he is actually earning that much, is he spending within limits? Or is he actually spending less, which gives him the leeway to actually invest more?
Sure.
Or worst come to worst, is he spending more than he's earning?
Sure.
And if he's doing that, how is the extra income coming? So it throws up a lot of questions. It's an eye-opening exercise. Cash flow is a must for anybody to start a financial plan.
Okay, I get that. And of course, a financial plan is a very individualized sort of, assessment of where one is, where one needs to be. But if I were to ask you to generalize this slightly for us based on life stages, if we broadly speaking take young working professionals who are between 20 to 30 years old, if we talk about a mid-age professional, and then we talk about the slightly older generation of people, how do typically plans vary? If you could give us a generalized view.
So if you have a person, say, who's just on the brink of starting his career, or who's just stepped into a job or something like that, or an entrepreneurship, his type of planning would be more oriented towards growth, but primarily first protecting him at this age, because if he's a sole bread earner, he can easily protect himself through adequate insurance or something at a very, very reasonable price to pay.
Absolutely.
So that plan for a person who's stepping into the career, probably his capacity to invest is much, much more than a person at a different life stage of, say, 45, or a person on the brink of retirement.
Absolutely. Is there any sort of thing or a rough rule which is kind of an savings to expenditure kind of a ratio? The reason I'm asking is that a lot of younger people are looking to live for the day. It is here and now. You enjoy your life right now. So how do you know how much to invest and how much you are at liberty to blow away and perhaps enjoy your present?
So there's a further redefinition of that also. So there's a difference between savings and investment.
Absolutely.
So if you just save and be happy about it, that this is the money lying in my bank account, I'm sorry to say it's a big mistake. But if you invest that money prudently, that's a better option to do for the long term. And the percentage, or if you want a thumb rule of that, we always advise that after all the expenses have been taken care of, you should at least be able to start with 20% of your monthly income going towards pure investments.
Okay.
So 20% is a start-off point. And that is where you need to control the lever there, that if I can fine-tune my expenses, I could probably be investing more.
Okay, all right, but at least 20%
at least
every
20% every month is a good
starting point. All right, so that's again something to keep in mind.
Exactly.
We'll take a break on that note, and we'll come down to the last important milestone on this journey to financial independence: protection, insurance. We'll talk about that on the other side.